Welcome back, everybody, to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Last time we beat levels 3, 4, and 5, and today we're gonna search the overworld a bit to grab a few goodies and items before heading off to level 6, because I did a little bit of off-screen grinding for some ruples. And I'd like to say we're in good shape to buy a few extra goodies before heading off into the next dungeon, and believe me, it is absolutely necessary. Definitely want to have a magic shield in tow before heading off to the next dungeon, because, oh my lord, it is an absolute living hell without it. That, and I did do some online research of some shops in the overworld, because I don't know, like, the entirety of Zelda 1's map perfectly. Like, I know, like, the overall layout, I just don't know where all of the hidden, like, grottos and shops are, as I've stated before. So, I'm going to be using this kind of obscure shop on the other side of the world that we haven't been to yet to go and purchase a magic shield for a much cheaper price than the usual running fee in most other shops around the overworld. And I'm also going to buy a few other things before heading off into the same level as well. Most notably those bundle of arrows that I just picked up earlier. As I had mentioned before, arrows run off of rupees, not their own counter. So basically, if you need to use arrows, you better think twice about what you're saving up for first before actually using them. But we're going to be getting an item in level 6 that will mostly negate its use anyway. So as far as the primary offensive capabilities for weapons as strong as arrows go, that won't be too much of a hindrance or problem. Until we reach level 9 anyway, but that's another story. That being said though, we still need those arrows, and for anybody who's played Zelda 1, you most notably know why. So first off, we're gonna head through the Lost Woods here, and I believe, I can't remember, so somebody in the comments, please correct me if I am mistaken, but there is a woman in the waterfall, I believe, that sells information, and if you talk to her and pay up rupees, then she'll give you information for whatever the maze path here is. Otherwise, like, you're gonna have to go completely off of intuition here, and I didn't even use that information, honestly. I just kind of looked up a guide as a kid, and it's one of those things that just sort of stick with you forever. So you want to go northwest, southwest, in that order, and you'll make it over to the other side of the world where level 6 and 9 await. So, yeah. And a bunch of other goodies as well. So we're going to check out this graveyard here for a second, and most of these screens here are filler-ish, except for this one that we're going to be looking at here soon enough. I do believe there is a lady in the overworld that tells you that if you check out the gravestones here, you will find yourself a magic route to the best sword upgrade in the game. I didn't mention this earlier, but the white sword we got earlier requires the usage of 5 heart containers, whereas with the magic sword, you need all but 12, and luckily for us, we happen to have 12 on hand. So, we're going to pick it up and have our best offensive capabilities at tow here. So, yeah. Nothing can stop us now, except for quite possibly Wizzrobes at this point in time. So, yeah, but the Master Sword, not the Master Sword, but the Magic Sword is the best sword in the game. No ums or buts about it. Definitely don't want to leave home without it, because once you reach level 6 and onwards, the enemies become much more difficult from this point onwards. So it definitely helps to have something that finishes off the tougher enemies a bit faster. So yeah, that thing we just picked up there is a power bracelet, and you might have noticed, you know, just from me going through the overworld, that whenever you see this formation of rocks, you basically want to push those, and those will lead to an underground passageway that nets you access to a shortcut system that basically lets you fast travel the overworld through 4 different locations. And I'm definitely going to be making good use of that at some point or another. Probably after we wrap up level 6, so yeah, I'll be showing that off a bit later. So, anywho, the shop that I'm looking for in particular isn't right here, but I want to come here so I can grab a few rupees so I can keep myself from having to grind on screen, that is. So, grab that, and then what we want to do is bomb this right here. How you would know about this without research, I have no idea. But there is the shield. We're going to pick that up. And I'd like to say for now that our defensive capabilities are at their finest. So, now that we're super prepped up and ready to go, we're going to head off to level 6. And I did mention that beforehand that I was going to pick up the blue candle. But at this point, since we're going to be getting the red candle in level 7 anyway, we're going to end up skipping it, unfortunately. So I apologize if you wanted me to get absolutely everything, but in the blue candle's case, I'm not, simply because there's no reason to with the next dungeon coming up after 6. But to go ahead and tell you the differences right offhand, the blue candle basically lets you throw out a small ember of flame once per screen in the overworld or dungeon, and like screen as in like you go from one screen to another as you're progressing, and you throw out one at a time, and then as you go to another screen it refreshes, and you can only throw out like one at a time. The red candle gets rid of this issue altogether and lets you throw out like 2 flames at a time without like the need of refreshing it altogether. But you know, I think I'm speaking a bit far too ahead of myself right now, so yeah, I think I'll go into further detail as for what I'm talking about once we reach level 7. But for now, actually, you know what? I want to take care of those Wizzrobes so I can get myself a free key. I'm not going to take that upper route there, simply because it leads to an old man with information, and I don't need no stinking information. I certainly don't. But yeah, level 6, easily one of the most annoying dungeons in the game, if for one reason and one reason only. And that is the Wizzrobes. There are 2 different variants of it. The red ones stand in place, and after a set period of time, they'll fire off a projectile that can only be reflected if you have a magic shield on hand. And you have the blue variants, which actually kind of move around the screen and basically throw out an all-out offensive on you. I don't know what I'm saying, but you'll see what I mean once we see them in action. But what makes level 6 even more annoying besides the Wizzrobes is that the way it's set up is that, like, for the most part, like, most of the dungeons we've been through have been pretty labyrinthian, in the sense that they've had, like, multiple routes where you had to, like, go and, like, find keys to progress. And, you'd have to branch off at some points or another to be able to, like, go off to this other direction, right? Level 6 is set up in a way to where it's mostly a linear gauntlet, and when you add to the fact that there's mostly Wizzrobes in this dungeon, having a game over here can be very fatal, because there is no like set alternative for basically finding a shortcut back to where you once were. You have to go through this bullcrap all over again. So I definitely recommend that you come into level 6 with full hearts aplenty, and possibly a potion or 2, because without it, if you're not totally familiar with the blue Wizzrobe AI, they're gonna kick your butt. Like, no questions asked. Like, the blue Wizzrobes in particular are just really, really annoying. The only part in which the dungeon route does branch off is towards the halfway point of it, where you end up getting the dungeon item for your troubles. And I think there's like one other room across from where the boss is, where you take that instead of where the boss is, and you end up with a dead end that has basically nothing in it. And also, I'm getting my butt kicked by this Gleeok, oh my lord. Yeah, Since this is the early NES era after all... Oh, no. Whew. Thank God I had the magic sword. Anywho, as I was saying, a lot of the later dungeons, levels 4 and onwards, will reuse bosses that you've seen before. In some cases, they will actually beef up the boss a little bit more. With Egliok, for instance, he had 3 heads instead of 2, as we saw him in level 4, I believe. So, it's nice to see that they put an interesting little twist on bosses that you've seen before. Keeps things fresh and not too entirely stale, I guess. But anywho, this was the route I was talking about, in which you find the magic wand. And the magic wand is alright. I personally don't use it too much. Yeah, it has the offensive capabilities of an arrow, except you don't have to worry about using magic or rupees in order to drain ammo for this weapon. So you can kind of use this freely. But one other thing, too, that a lot of people don't seem to realize is that the wand itself actually is a hitbox. It has a hitbox much akin to a sword. So you can kind of use this to, like, stab enemies where, you know, magic projectiles wouldn't normally work on. And from what I can collect, some people also use the wand as well when it comes to using, doing their swordless runs, because it's actually possible to go through the entirety of Zelda 1 without having to use a sword. You just have to be really smart about it. But, yeah, that's just some informational tidbits in case you didn't already know. Oh, God. I probably should have grinded a little bit more off screen, so I would have had a bit more money for a potion or two. That would have been a bit...
It was at this moment that he knew.
God damn
he fucked up.
Fucking likes. Oh, I am screwed. No. So now I cannot afford to take damage from the frickin' Wizzrobes. Ugh. Alright, I'm back. Hurry! I had to go off and buy myself another shield, and that involved rupee grinding, so I have no idea where I'm at as far as video length is concerned, so... one can only hope that I can make it through this time, because, again, I'm not entirely accustomed to using a GameCube control pad, and it's kind of fucking with my movement in a way to where I need to be in precise, like, positions to be able to deflect magic projectiles. And since you can't stun Wizzrobes with a boomerang, unfortunately, yeah, you have to kind of play it, like, super honest. And, I don't want to get sent flying into a freaking another like again. Oh my lord. Anyway, I think I'm reaching the end of this dungeon here. I kind of took the wrong route at the intersection there, where, you know, you turn to go to either one path or where the dungeon item is. So I took the right path instead. And, there are secrets where fairies don't live. Now that right there, that's a tip for where level 7 is right there. So, actually, I want to see if I can bomb this right here. No. Okay, so it looks like I was supposed to take the southern route after all. Crap. Level 6 is easily, like, probably the most annoying dungeon in the game for me personally. Like, level 9 has some, like, annoying enemies too, but they mix it up to where it's not, like, exclusively Wizzrobes and, you know, likes, which is what makes this dungeon combination of enemies annoying. And with that by itself, that kind of warrants, you know, having to deal with less annoying enemies by that virtue alone, so... Oh boy. So... Can we do it this time? If things get hairy, I could also just, like, do start and continue. And, oh my god, no! These stupid blue Wizzrobes pop in the most inopportune locations. Doesn't help that you can't hurt these bubbles either. Jesus freaking Christ. Ugh. Okay. Okay, this bubble needs to get out of my way. Jesus Christ. I hope the next room is filled with easier enemies, because I need to farm some health. I mean, granted, it is partially my fault for not farming rupees for a potion, but still... Ooh, yes, gimme. That is just what I needed. Oof. Okay, not the combination of things I wanted, but you know what? I'll take it either way. Alright. Give me a heart? No, but he'll give me a key instead, which I guess kind of works. Alright, yes! Give me... Alright, just what I needed. Whew. And right in front of the boss, too. Whew! That was close. Oh my god, that was a close call. Okay, so the boss here is painfully easy if you know exactly what you're doing. And this is the thing I mentioned earlier, where you are absolutely required to have the arrows on hand, otherwise you will not be able to progress through the rest of the entirety of the game. So, our boss here is Goma. You wait for him to open his eye once, and Link just faced the wrong way for some reason. Wait for his eye to open. Dodges projectiles. You cannot deflect those projectiles with a shield, by the way, so don't even attempt to do it. There we go. And all it takes is one arrow. Like, that's the boss, everyone. Now, that being said, that is level 6. Oh boy, I hate this dungeon with a burning passion. Oh my lord. I hate it so much. Ugh. So, yeah, I think I'm due for a break after that annoying gauntlet. So, next time on Let's Play The Legend of Zelda for the NES, we're gonna head off to level 7, and probably not have as much of a rough time as we did previously. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all then.